Support for WUWM podcasts comes from Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, home to 24/7 excitement, dining, and an on-site hotel at 1721 West Canal Street. More information at potawatomi.com.
Lake Effect brings you conversations about what's happening in Milwaukee and the people, places, and organizations that shape our community. This is Lake Effect Spotlight from WUWM, Milwaukee's NPR.
Will Allen is a former professional basketball player, but he decided to trade the court for crops. Allen is credited as a pioneer in urban agriculture in Milwaukee. He started Growing Power in 1995. The nonprofit initiative revolutionized how the city thought about local food production and education. Growing Power ceased operations in 2017 in the face of legal and financial problems. But the organization left its mark, paving the way for future flourishing urban agriculture initiatives in Milwaukee. WUWM's Eric Vaughn Fellow Maria Peralta-Arellano spoke with Allen as part of her series called Feeding the City, The People Powering Local Food.
Will Allen's farm stand sits on a long stretch of road on Drexel Avenue in Oak Creek, just across the street from the original 25 acres where he began his farming career. I stood next to his large black pickup truck in the farm stand this summer as Allen fixed himself along the edge of the truck bed to chat. Allen explained to me what urban agriculture looked like as he entered the field in 1993.
Well, there was a program called Shoots and Roots that was run by the county, Milwaukee County, and they had some vacant lot production going on back then in the inner city. But what happened after that, they pretty much shut down all those gardens in the inner city for whatever reason. I don't want to get into it, but, you know, and the ones that remained were the ones on the outskirts of the city, still within the city proper, but not in the inner city. There was a lot of knowledge from people from the South, but they didn't seem to want to go back into agriculture after all the bad things that had happened, especially to black people in the South. So I actually started out here in Oak Creek. Right across the street was 25 acres, and behind my house, right behind you, another 25 acres that I farmed. And then I was asked to help some folks in the city, and that's how I kind of got involved in the city.
Allen, who grew up farming, was working in sales and sales technology for Procter & Gamble at the time, but he left the job and got further involved in urban farming. He says he bought the last remaining farm in the city of Milwaukee on 55th and Silver Spring.
The farm was established in the late 1920s. It had 6 A-frame greenhouses, and they were in bad disarray, and the city owned the property, and I was able to buy it for a pretty decent price. And that's when the work began.
Growing Power became a catalyst for urban agriculture in the city. The nonprofit focused on educating youth and employing locals, but was also a place where Allen perfected and pioneered farming techniques, such as his aquaponics system. He integrated fish in his city farm, creating an ecosystem that could sustain all the proper nutrients to the plants he was growing to feed the community. This technique also allowed him to grow in stacked beds, allowing him to maximize smaller urban spaces. Allen was a radical grower who had a global influence. He wrote books to sow children's interest in growing food. He spoke across the nation, and he taught other farmers and communities the techniques he created. Despite its closure in 2017, Growing Power left its mark.
The legacy has been that I've trained most of the people that got involved in urban agriculture in the city of Milwaukee. So if you talk to most of those people, which you probably have, they'll probably bring up my name because they came through our trainings and we trained them. And, hopefully some of them are, starting to work in those communities. That there's lots of land. There's probably over 2,000 vacant lots in the city of Milwaukee, so there's land.
Allen acknowledges the strength of urban growers and the action being taken by communities to localize food production. But he says the farming world that he once knew is not the same.
Well, I think the biggest change, it's very difficult to find people that want to get involved in growing food because it's hard work. I mean, look at this year when you have 80, 90 degree temperatures and humidity and everything. It's very difficult. Our Hmong community has done a great job over the years since they moved down from Minnesota years ago and got involved in the farmers markets. Without the Hmong farmers, we wouldn't have farmers markets in this city. Back when I was going to farmers markets, we would go to 13 farmers markets in one day. And it was difficult, but, that's the way things were back then.
Alan says today there are farmers markets throughout the city and the suburbs, but a lot of them don't have vendors offering produce.
They have a lot of people selling everything but food, and we need food. People need food at a reasonable price because the prices in the grocery stores are outrageous. So we need people growing food, but there's not a lot of food growers anymore. It's more, if you go to a farmer's market, I bet you 50% of the vendors there are not farmers. They're just selling other stuff.
In that same vein, where have we found success in urban agriculture here that we may have not had in the past?
Well, I think there's some success with a few of the groups that really have sustained themselves, Hasn't been many. Because like I said, it's hard work and it's hard to find people that want to do the work. So I think that's the biggest challenge. I think there's a lot of challenges. And I think the cities haven't gotten on board to help develop the growers and provide the funding that's necessary for folks to grow inside the city, to be able to develop these vacant lots, to be able to have the right kind of soil, because it's something a statement I came up with years and years ago. It's all about the soil.
Alan still uses his farmland and skills to educate those who are interested in farming. He hopes to continue to build the next generation of Milwaukee farmers.
And I love to train young people that are interested. And there are some young people. I have two 20-year-olds that I'm training right now that want to be farmers. So that's what it's going to take. I'm also working with kids with autism here on this farm, and that's very satisfying to me because my youngest grandson, I have 5 grandsons, has autism, so that's very gratifying to me to be able to see what changes can happen in their lives when they touch the soil and when they grow food. It's been very, very satisfying.
I'll continue to explore urban agriculture all week during Morning Edition and Lake Effect in my series, Feeding the City, the people powering local food. On Tuesday, I'll report on the challenges and opportunities for local farmers with visits to Crops on Top in the River West neighborhood and Wisconsin's largest hydroponics operation, 100 Acre Farm. For Lake Effect, I'm Eric Vaughn Fellow, Maria Peralta-Arellano.
You can find more interviews like this one by visiting WUWM.com/Lake Effect. And while you're there, subscribe to the Lake Effect Spotlight podcast.